Well, it's time to play some catch up at the movies, guys. I am all healed up from my battle with COVID. I kicked it right in the ass, straight out the door. And I went back to the theater tonight and I saw Longlegs, finally. Which, especially in the week preceding this Neon release, written and directed by Perkins, there was so much hype surrounding this thing. And I'll be honest, I was one of those people that was hyping this up. I was so antsy to see this. We follow an FBI agent named Lee Harker, played by Maika Monroe, who some of you might remember from It Follows. She's assigned to an unsolved serial killer case that takes an unexpected turn, revealing evidence of the occult involved. And Harker actually discovers a personal connection to the killer, played masterfully by Nicolas, and she must stop him before he strikes again. Perkins actually is an up-and-coming director, and he's come out with a few films that I found pretty unremarkable. Whew, but let me tell you this much. Yeah, I think Longlegs is gonna put this man on the map. Longlegs made me so happy as a scary movie fan. This movie was disturbing, it was unsettling, it's everything that I look for in a super weird movie like this. And I think it all boils down to the overall presentation. Perkins directed the absolute out of this movie. The shot composition, Andres Aroki's cinematography is marvelous. You don't get as many weird angles as you'd see in a Yorgos Lanthimos style picture, but with how crisp the imagery is, it was sort of giving me those same vibes. Perkins loves to use the rule of thirds. He loves to put his actors dead center. Lots of wide shots, which for a horror movie is absolutely perfect. It just leaves you on the edge of your seat and gripping the arms of your chair, and you're just looking in the background of those frames waiting for something to happen. Like, there's a scene where Maika Monroe is opening up a letter, and there's just a door frame just sitting there. And I was waiting for something to just, like, come out and do a big old jump scare on me and a big jolt of music. And it never came. I think that sort of editing and that sort of direction is the mark of a true master who understands the craft of a horror movie. Perkins, bravo, sir. I can't wait to see what you do next. Bravo to Maika Monroe as well as our lead character. This is a very traumatic performance. This is a character who has a lot of baggage. And the touches that Maika Monroe puts on this character, even as she delivers her dialogue, the way she stands, the way she interacts with other people, and especially the way she breathes, yeah. And it's a perfect contrast to Blair Underwood's character in this movie. He plays her boss in this. You kind of sense that he's the normal one between the two. You can sense that Maika Monroe's character, there's something going on in her head. Like, the paranoia is certainly there. And when you look at Blair Underwood and just his calming presence, that's another thing that'll really set you off, is like the calming nature of the way some of these people are delivering their lines. But the constant panic that Maika Monroe has throughout this movie is absolutely spot on. But you know what? In a movie about a serial killer, I think it all boils down to who you actually get as the serial killer and just how uncomfortable they make you feel. And Nicolas is one of those actors that I absolutely have loved in everything that he's done. He's been on quite a career renaissance, especially over this past half decade or so. I've loved pretty much the majority of, if not all of his movies that he's put out, especially over the past 5 years. He's really done a great job at picking his projects. And Longlegs might have been his best performance out of all of them. This guy is fully deranged. The makeup work that went into this guy, like, the trailers were absolutely perfect. The marketing for Longlegs, it didn't even show a smidgen of his face. So you couldn't even see how deformed this guy actually was. And I think that was a big part of the anticipation of Longlegs, is because you want to see Nicolas and how larger than life and over the top he's going to be here. Damn, man. Oh, you got me. There's some sequences and stuff he says and does in this movie that I'm not really going to forget. It's not going to leave my mind for a long time. Technically speaking, Longlegs, I think, is the best horror movie I've seen so far this year. I'm very, very pleased with how this movie turned out. Again, this review is better late than never, but it was absolutely worth the wait for me. Now, here's the million-dollar question. Do I think that Longlegs is going to stand the test of time with the greatest horror movies ever? I don't know yet. I've only seen the movie once, and I have a solid rule, and this should be a rule for everybody. Do not call a movie a masterpiece right away, because that sets such high and unrealistic expectations for people. I'm glad that you think that movie deserves an instant ticket to the AFI Top 100. That's awesome. But give me about another 5 years before I consider Longlegs a masterpiece of horror. And even after that time, I don't think it's going to be. First of all, because I don't think this movie had nearly enough frightening imagery like you see in stuff like The Babadook or Hereditary, for example, and nothing that's really going to give me nightmares per se. And let me also address this elephant in the room when we talk about comparisons. I have heard a lot of people say that this is like this generation's Silence of the Lambs. The only real big comparison, and I feel like a lot of people were comparing Nicolas Cage to Buffalo Bill for whatever reason, two completely different characters. The only real comparison to Silence of the Lambs that I can see, and pretty vividly, a female FBI agent is your hero, and Maika Monroe maybe took some inspiration from Jodie Foster's performance from '91. That's it, though. And I feel like my biggest issue with Longlegs ultimately isn't the comparisons, isn't anything related to what I was just talking about. But when the big twist reveal happens in this, I'm not going to get too deep into spoilers about what it is. It's very different, and it's very clever, and unlike anything I've ever seen in a scary serial killer movie like this. So I can definitely give credit to Oz Perkins for that, for the originality. But I feel like there's a bit too overlong of an explanation. I kind of wish Oz Perkins trusted his audience a little bit more to figure it out. But it's like a whole 5-minute narration, and it's all exposition dump, basically hammering the point home to the audience that this is the twist. And I feel like for a movie like this, I wish the scripts trusted its audience. But aside from that, very, very happy with Longlegs. It's one of my favorite movies of the year so far. I can't wait to see it again. I'm going to give Longlegs an A. Especially if you are a fan of scary, this is a ticket that you guys cannot miss. Let me know what you think of Longlegs down in the comments section. What is your favorite Nicolas Cage performance? And what's been your favorite Nicolas Cage movie over the past 5 years? I've talked about a good chunk of them on this channel already. I love discussing all new things in the cinematic world here on the regular. Hit that subscribe button if you've stumbled upon this channel for the first time. And hit that thumbs up as well. That would be a huge help. Stay tuned for more videos hitting this channel very soon as we finish up the month of July with Deadpool and Wolverine hitting theaters. Cannot freaking wait. My tickets are already secured, and it's my most anticipated movie of the year. So, I'm hoping it's good. All those thoughts to come and much more, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. Y'all are the best. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.